Today I'm gonna talk about Sales Order Applet. So this is a Sales Order Applet. We call it internal Sales Order Applet. On the left hand side, okay, you can minimize or maximize it. Left hand side, you're gonna have sales order line item. This is like a simple report. It's all aligned with the sales invoice KO. Import, if let's say you want to import or upload the sales order, okay, sales order detailed report. Approval, if you have any approval level that you want to configure sales order need to be approved first, then only you can convert it to sales invoice, okay, and then export file. So all the left side menu you can hide and show it by configuration. So now we go to the sales order. So every time you click on the sales order applet, this is the first UI that you're gonna see, which is the listing. Okay, inside the listing here, and first UI you're gonna have plus, which is to create new, the advanced filter, the toggle, and then the pagination, and then final discard all of this status. So if you want to create the new sales order, you can click plus over here. So now on when you click plus, you're gonna see search document. Okay, this search document, if you want to hide it, also can. And then we have a main details, which is where you're gonna choose your branch. Okay, transaction date, reference, remarks. Okay, and then the account here, where you choose your customer. Okay, choose your customer and line. So basically, for the transaction, red color means there is a mandatory information that you need to do. Okay, which is main detail, account, and line. All right. So for the sales order, if you see there's a KO4 over here. So it depends on how the workflow for your company. So example that before the sales order created, you need to have sales quotation. Okay. So you're gonna configure from sales quotation to the sales order. All right. So if that's the case, then you need to go to the KO4 over here and then you load the sales quotation. Okay, this is the first step. If let's say your first transactions will be sales order and then you will not use sales quotation, then you can ignore this KO4. But instead, you just go to the main details here, choose your branch, you choose your branch, okay, and then you can choose your sales agent if you have, and then you key in your reference. Okay, and then account here is where you choose your customer. You can choose any customer. Line here is where you choose your item. You can scan the input as well or not, then you just key in any. By right, if you set the item code to have a pricing scheme, then you can see the pricing scheme. But if let's say you allow the user to edit the sales price, okay, or the item price, so you can put it here. You can change it here. So example, this one is 1,200. Okay, the serial number here is if you have a what do you call serial number upon sales order, but mostly during sales order there will be no serial number needed. So you just add. So after you add, you will see final over here. When final appear, it means that your sales order is good to go. Okay, or you can put it safe, meaning that you will save it as a draft. So maybe I just final it. Okay, final, when it is final, you cannot change anything from your sys order. So this is a sys order final. So see, you cannot change your customer, you cannot change your branch. Okay, but you're allowed to contra. Later I'm gonna explain on the contra. So that's our very standard sales order. So now the second scenario, okay, that's the first scenario, which is very straightforward. Second scenario, if your sales order, okay, sales order created with deposit by customer. So if that's the case, first you need to click plus again, and then you go to the main details. You just choose the branch. Okay, and then you go to the account here. You choose your customer, your line, which is the item again. And then key in the price. Okay, price here is 1,000. The main details here I haven't choose. Okay. So if the customer pay you deposit, right? So you need to go to the receipt voucher tab over here. On this receipt voucher tab, you need to click plus. When you click plus, it's gonna show you what's will be the branch and the location, okay, the date, and then the settlement. This settlement is how the customer pay you. Is it by cash, credit card, bank transfer? Okay, so you choose. So example, they pay by cash. Okay, but since there is a deposit, so I just put in 300. So on the top right hand side, you will see auto finalize both document, which is you want to auto final sales order and the receipt, or you just want to final the receipt. But the sales order is still draft because you're still editing your item, for example. Okay, so you just put toggle either one. Okay, so if you want the user do don't need to tick anything here. You can put it into the default configuration for the function. So now I just finalize the receipt, then I click create. So I'm gonna receive 300 from the customer. So every time you do that, so the sales order will be created, receipt also will be created. Just now I just finalized the receipt, okay? So that's why my sales order still draft. When sales order still draft, it gonna show you red color to notify that the sales order need to be final. Okay, then you can proceed to convert it to the sales invoice. So now I click back on that. You see the receipt voucher is there. Okay. And then the contra is there because you contra the receipt voucher with the sales order. Okay. This is the doc link. Okay, this doc link is used when you are converting one transaction to another transaction. For in this case, if let's say you converting sales quotation to the sales order, okay, so your doc link here is gonna show from sales quotation. Attachment, if you want to attach any picture or any document to this sales order, so you can just click pass to attach. Export here when you want to reprint. Okay, you want to reprint, then you can go to export and then export as PDF. So now everything is okay. So you can finally. So as you know that when it is a final, okay, it's final, you cannot edit, right? So but under sales order, we have configuration that allow you to change the sales order from final to draft, but need to make sure that the sales order haven't converted to sales invoice. Okay, so because sales order will not affect your invoice, it will not affect your quantity, your stock. Okay, so that's why you allow to make it as a draft. So if let's say you don't allow it to make it as a draft, but instead you ask the user to create the new sales order for the new order. Okay, so there will be two different sales order number. So you can hide this as well. Every time you create sales order, you will go back to the main listing, which is this is the main listing under the first step. Everything show by document number. Okay, is by document number. So here you can see the advanced filter, whether you want to filter by a customer or by company, if you have multiple company, by branch, okay, or by sales agent or by status, date, okay, date. Under the main listing, if you want to make a group, okay, group by a posting status, for example, because you need to know how many sales orders still draft, how many already final, so you can drag it over here. Okay, so it will group. Okay, but if let's say you don't want, so anything that you want to system to group it, you just drag and then put it here. But if let's say you when you cross it, it will go back to the normal, which is a row by row. Okay. So that's sales order by document, which is the sales order on main sub menu here. And then we have line item, right, on the left hand side. This line item is by itemize. Okay, is by itemize. So example that under one, okay, here example under one sales order you have two item. All right, so in this line item it will show you, you cannot say duplicate, but it will gonna have a two row with a different item under the same sales order. So that's the difference between sales order and then the line item. So, and then the left side, the third one, we have a sales order line with the sales invoice KO. Sorry, I don't have any permission on this. So here, this part on the left hand side is used when you already contra or convert. Okay, you already convert the sales order to the sales invoice. Okay, if let's say it's not, is haven't, okay, then it will show you this one, like white color. Okay, it's a white color over here. Purple color here means that because you already order, okay, you order already, and then you already, I mean that you don't have any quantity outstanding. So you consider can close it, right? Because this order is a ordered one by customer, and then you convert it by to the sales invoice with one quantity as well. So it's considered closed. Under this sales order line with also you can see the line what they call advanced filter as well. If let's say it's a fully convert to the sales invoice, that is gonna show purple color. Yellow color means that you partial, because you can partially deliver to the customer, partially convert to the sales invoice. Okay, so that's gonna show you can see on the yellow color over here. So the fourth one would be import, and then fifth one would be sales order detailed report. This sales order detailed report actually is more into the grouping on the what is the item, what is this order, what is will be the quantity, and the quantity, and then of how many APO that you raise for the sales order, the amount and everything. And then approval. So like I say, this approval actually is if let's say you use it, then you can go to this approval. But if let's say you don't have any approval method, then you can ignore this approval. Instead, you can hide it. export also usually we're gonna hide, but if you need this export, you might enable it from the configuration, okay, where you can export from which date to which date. And then last we go to setting. This setting is by admin. We have application setting, default selection, printable format, all of this, and permission level, right? So on the application setting, you can hide or show all the things that you're gonna want to show here on the left. Okay, the gen.doc listing, if let's say you want to hide the user not able to void meaning that you're gonna cancel the sales order. They cannot do, you want to hide the remarks from the main listing, okay? So you just hide or show whatever that you need over here. FAQ, if you use it. Main details where you hide a certain thing as well. Count, line item, which item price that you want, all of this information. Okay, so if you want to hide the tab on the top one, so you can do here. And then next we have a default selection. Default selection, this one is more into like a default for all user under one applet. So every time we log in, the user log in, it always default to the Samsung OMS or maybe to the Shopify location. Yeah, and then what will be the pricing scheme? What will be the price default currency? So this one you can set by yourself. Okay. The difference is that we have, okay, basically we have two. One will be default selection here on the Apple setting. The other one is under personalization. Personalization default selection. Also that you can default your branch. Okay. The difference, this setting, the default selection setting, it will affect the whole applet. I the whole user. It will see the same branch. But if let's say you want to, user A can see branch A, user B only can see branch B as a default. So in that setting, you need to do under personalization, meaning that the user need to log in and then set the personalization by themselves, one by one. Okay. So and then here, okay, I go to this setting first. Printable format. If you want to have your own printable format, workflow, sales order status, and then on the, okay, and then the bottom part we have for permission. Okay, permission. If you want to give the permission by role, okay, so you can click on the role and then you can add on the user, give the permission set. So this permission set actually is by branch level. So maybe B2 cashier here only can see B2 branch. So you just tick and then click add. Client side setting. Okay, this client side setting is more into whether you allow them to edit the date, whether you allow them to change the price. Okay, that will be the client side. Okay, and then this is the personalization. So personalization here under the default, right? The one that I showed you just now, where you can set your default branch as well by user. And then you see here there you have a default toggle column. What does it mean by toggle column? This toggle column actually is this part. This part. So when it is one, all right, one toggle. So when I click first, it's gonna have a bigger screen. You put it through double. Okay, and then I save it. Go back. So I will have double toggle, right? So you see the difference. So when it is a single, you're gonna have a bigger screen. But if let's say you put it double, you're gonna have a side by side. But the UI will be, the function will be the same. It's just that the UI matter. This setting here mainly is used by the admin or is configured before you use it. So we need to know your workflow, then only we can the identify the sales order workflow. So yeah, so that's basically for the sales order. So if you have any question or any concern about the sales order, you might contact us because this sales order we need to have a configuration first in order to use. It depends on your workflow.